Okay, we are live, everybody. So welcome everybody on the screen, staff, council, Jocelyn Lundberg, and the late contestants, and the rest of staff. So, and anybody watching at home tonight, welcome to you as well. Just want to acknowledge this meeting is taking place virtually on the traditional territories of the Subasat people of the lake, where we all live, work, and play happily together as neighbors. With that, I'd like to call to order this regular meeting of council on Tuesday, April 26, 2022 at 6:02 p.m. And this meeting is being held electronically via the council chambers located at 39 South Shore Road in Lake Cowichan, BC. With that, I'll call the meeting to order and ask for any introduction of late items. Okay, seeing no hands, I do have one item under notices of motion. I would like to add social media policy. Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, just one addition under the in-camera would be dealing with potential litigation, section 91G.
Thank you very much. So no other hands. Then I'll be looking for approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Sandhu, second by Councillor Romeka. Any further discussion? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? And opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you. Next, we have a couple sets of minutes. We have the minutes from the public hearing held on March 22nd, 2022, I believe that should say. And moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Austin. Any discussion on those minutes? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor and opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. Next, we have the minutes of the regular meeting of council, held on March 22nd, 2022. Looking for a mover. Councillor Sandhu, seconded by, I've lost Councillor McGonigal. He might have his hand up. Councillor Romeka. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? None. Motion carried. And we have no business arising and unfinished business. That'll bring us to delegations. And I see a bunch of lovely young ladies on the screen tonight who I believe are going to introduce themselves to staff and council here. So Jocelyn, I'll turn it over to you and you can do the introductions.
Great. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having us back again this year. Very pleased that our program, recovered from the couple of years in the COVID year. So we're very grateful that we have a really energetic group of candidates again this year. I'm not going to say too much. I will leave it to them to introduce themselves, and then I'll kind of wrap up a little bit at the end. We also have our 2021 royalty here with us this evening. So I think we will start with the ambassador team from 2021, and then I will turn it over to the candidates to introduce themselves.
Okay.
All right, royalty team.
Hi, I'm Macy Anderson. I'm the 2021-2022 Cowichan Lake Second Princess. And I'm just going to say my favorite memory from the year so far. And that was when we got to go to the Parliament in Victoria. And we got the opportunity to meet Sonia Firstenow. And it was just a really fun and interesting experience.
Hi, my name is Megan Rowbottom, and I'm the 2021-2022 Cowichan Lake First Princess. And my favorite memory from this year was being able to travel to White Rock and explore other places in BC and meet other ambassador teams.
Hello, my name is Mariah Segui, and I am the 2021-2022 Cowichan Lake Lady of the Lake. And my favorite thing that we've done this year is the Princess Movie Night we just hosted on Friday in honor of Crystal Mayo. It was a really fun experience to watch all the little kids and have fun with the movie.
All right, thank you, girls. And now I will turn it to our 2022 candidates to introduce themselves and their sponsors.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosalind Baird. I'm sponsored by Countrywide Realty, and my sponsor representative is Jada Forrest. I am hoping that this opportunity is going to give me the chance to create a deeper connection with my community.
Hi everyone, my name is Danielle Bissett. I'm sponsored by the Royal Canadian Legion, branch number 210, and I decided to participate in the Lady of the Lake program because I've always been so proud to call Lake Cowichan my home, and representing our town is something I'd be honored to do. My mom is also a huge role model of mine. She volunteers a lot, helps out a ton, and I aspire to be as active in our community as she is, and Lady of the Lake is just the start of that.
I see Janae, you just popped on, but could you introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Janae Weir. I'm being sponsored by the Lake Cowichan Kin, and I decided to join the Lady of the Lake program because I always saw all my family doing it, and last year when all my friends started running, it really inspired me to join this year.
Hi, my name is Sarah Brown. My sponsor is Ed's Coffee House, and I'm being sponsored by, my sponsor representative is Ed Ufnall. And I really wanted to run when my sister ran a few years ago, and I saw her grow as a person, and it was an amazing experience for her. So I wanted that for myself.
Hello, my name is Elise Nelson. I'm sponsored by A&W, and my sponsor representative is Amber Batty. The reason I joined Lady of the Lake is because it's been a tradition in my family for many generations, and I've only heard positive feedback, and just I really wanted that for me.
Hi everyone, my name is Sunny Dalman. I'm being sponsored by Remax, and my sponsor representatives are Ali Earl and Jennifer Allen. I joined the Lady of the Lake program because I wanted to learn and grow as my own individual and help everybody else around me. Also because I love the Lake Cowichan community since I moved here a while ago.
All right, thank you, girls. Yeah, we're really, like I said, we're really excited to have 6 girls in the program this year. And we're even more excited that we're actually to have the return of all of our in-person meetings and of course the in-person events, what would have traditionally been Lake Days week. I know there's still a conversation about what Lake Days itself is going to look like, but we are moving forward with our traditional events. So on June 8th, we will have the opportunity night at the hall. On June 10th will be the formal pageant night also at the hall. And then we will have crowning on June 11th. Doors for tickets will be available at the door for opportunity night, and they'll be available for public sale a little bit later in May for the pageant night. So we will have lots of social media posts about that. So anybody who wants to attend the events, we would love to see everybody's faces again. Yeah, it's ambassador programs around the province they really took a bit of a hit during COVID, loss of revenue for a lot of the societies, just, lack of interest. So I think there's probably about half of the remaining programs in all of British Columbia that there was maybe 5 years ago. We are the only program that's running on the island this year. So we're really proud that we have the support of our community and our sponsors and that we're able to keep going. We've said before, we'll be here as long as we have interest in the program. And even though we had a couple down years, we're proud to be back and we're doing a lot of new great things. The girls this weekend are actually doing some first aid and CPR training. They had a workshop with Work BC last week where they did some job preparation and resume building skills. So we're really trying to kind of break away from more of that traditional pageant kind of reputation and make it more about kind of skill development and getting them ready to go off into the world and make their mark. So yeah, we're really proud of them. We're proud of our 2021 royalty. They, had a bit of a different year themselves. We're excited that we're actually going to be sending them to trail in a couple weekends here to represent our community. That will be the the farthest they've gone off island this year. So that'll be a really great trip for them to kind of mark, what's getting to be the end of their reign. So yeah, we thank you again for having us this evening, and we hope to see you at the public events in June.
All right, thank you very much, Jocelyn, and thank you very much, all of you young ladies, for putting yourself forward into this program, because it's always a joy to watch. I always try to be a really close spectator and try to see the changes in all the candidates as they progress through the program. And it's always amazing to me what I see at the end, whether you place number 1, 2, or 3 in the end result or not, doesn't matter to me. It's just how much I've been able to watch people grow through the program. So good luck to you all. And I'm thinking members of council would like to say congratulations to you for stepping forward too. I just have to find them. Councillor Sandhu.
Always me. First, I just want to say thank you to Jocelyn and for all you do for the Lady of the Lake, and to Mariah, Megan, and Macy. What an amazing year, and congratulations for your successful year. To the girls, I just want to say that the theme I was hearing from you is that you were inspired to run by different reasons, and I just want to say aspire to inspire all those younger girls that are watching. So congratulations, and I look forward to watching the ceremony and whatnot, all the processes you're going through. So congratulations.
Thank you, Councillor Sandhu. Councillor McGonigal.
Thank you very much. And I must say, Jocelyn, you were an excellent mentor and representative of the program, and I applaud you for all you've done in the past, currently, and in the future. To the royalty, I remember when you came on virtually and you were quite nervous, and to see you grow as young ladies, as representatives of our community is very inspiring and very enlightening. And to the young ladies, it's a little easier this year because you're not standing in front of us, terrifying people and having to speak to us. But I'm always mesmerized to see from the initial speech and introductions the growth of each of the candidates as they move through the program and become more confident young individuals representing our community in wherever they go. So congratulations to the current royalty and to the candidates. I wish you all the best moving forward.
Go ahead, Councillor Austin.
Get my unmute going. Congratulations to the girls that are still in the program right now, and the new girls coming up. It's going to be a great opportunity for learning a lot of skills that you'll take on into your future life. And Jocelyn, you do a wonderful job, and it's great to see that it's going again. And we hope to see you all at the ball, and the very best of luck in your programs.
Okay, that's all the hands I saw go up. So, Councillor Romeka, go ahead.
It's hard to see. Yes, thank you, Jocelyn, for persevering. I know COVID made it really hard, not only for you, but also the royalty. It would have been great this year to see all of you young ladies at all of the events. And to the new 6 girls that are coming in, just amazing what you're going to learn in such a very short time. And I wish all of you the best. You may not be close friends, but my daughter, who ran in Lady of the Lake, ended up making friends with girls that she had nothing in common with. So I hope you 6 take the time to bond together and enjoy your experiences that you're being offered. Thank you. I think I did the outgoing royalty. Yes. See, we all make mistakes. Don't be nervous. We're all tongue-tied. Congratulations, ladies.
Okay, once again, thank you very much to all of you for coming to talk to us tonight, and thank you, Jocelyn, for keeping the program alive. And it sounds like it's going to be almost back to normal this year, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys again. All right, girls, you can pop off.
Can we go back to the previous screen? It looked a lot better.
Okay, took me a second, but you're being a smart guy. Yeah, great. Glad to see the young ladies and so many stepping up after COVID, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Okay. So with that, we can move now to correspondence, and we have an action item, UBCM Community Emergency Preparedness Fund regarding Emergency Operations Center grant, regional approach for 2022. Mr. Fernandez, do you have any comments for that? After you come off mute.
Yeah, the CEOs of the areas got together on this issue, and we all agreed that it would be best handled by the CBRD. So at that point, we all gave our tacit approval to the application. And so right now, all they're looking for is a council motion to support that.
Okay, any members of council want to speak to that or make a motion of support for that letter? And the operations, Councilor McGonigal, moved by Councilor McGonigal, second by Councilor Austin. Any further discussion on that item? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor and opposed, seeing none, motion carried. Thank you. Next is information and consent items. English teaching position, Date City, Japan. Pretty self-explanatory there. I had the opportunity to meet this young man on an Easter camping trip, and had a conversation with him about him, and he's very, very excited about going over and taking on this position. Councillor Sandhu.
I was just going to move. Do we have to make this a motion?
No, oh, sorry, no.
No.
Oh, I apologize.
That's okay. Okay, next we have the Cowichan Valley Regional District regarding the Cowichan Internet and Cellular Connectivity Strategy. Invitation to join the project introduction meeting, Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say. It's something quite new to us. Councilor McGonigal might have something to add to that.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. I think they're looking for expandability in internet in the outlying areas and cellular connectivity in some of those gaps that are currently there. So it's an investigative process to begin with before moving through with a strategy on the different providers. But the introduction meeting is just to show where maybe some of those areas of deficiencies are and how they could be mitigated. So that's just the introduction to that, and then what comes of that will be moved forward through the regional district.
Yes, thank you. And I know that attending some sessions with the provincial ministry, municipal affairs, they brought forward connectivity as a very high priority and have committed lots of dollars to that and making sure communities are well connected. So that's probably the impetus behind this as well.
And if I may, I think we've all seen through COVID the need for connectivity as we all meet virtually throughout different parts of the area. And certain electoral area directors having spotty connectivity issues have to attend the CBRD building to have that connectivity rectified. So this would look at all portions within the CBRD to begin with, and then move forward provincially. I'm hoping with that program you mentioned from the provincial government.
All right. Okay, so that's it for correspondence, and now we can move to council and committee reports, and we have the committee of the whole. Councillor Romeka.
I move these minutes, don't I, with the recommendations?
Yep.
So the moving the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held and transmitted electronically via council chambers located 39 South Shore Road, Lake Cowichan on Tuesday, April the 12th, 2022, with the following recommendations. That the committee recommend that the request from the Cowichan Lake Forest Cooperative be forwarded to council for its consideration. That the committee recommend that the 2022 orientation workshop proposed by Allison Habkirk be approved. That the committee recommend that the correspondence item from Paul Gregory, Senior Ocean Campaigner of Nature Canada, requesting a letter of support from the town be received and filed. And that the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department's incident report in the amount of $9,821.11 for January of 2022. That the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department's incident report in the amount of $7,923.62 for February of 2022. That the committee recommend approval of the Lake Cowichan Fire Department incident report in the amount of $6,441.63 for March of 2022. And the committee recommend that the Lake Cowichan Scholarship be approved for $1,000 through the town's 2022 grant and aid budget, and that the committee recommend that the request for $1,000 for Wild Safe be forwarded to the next meeting for further consideration. And that is all the recommendations. Thank you. You're muted.
Somebody could read my lips, though. Anyhow, so thank you very much. It's moved and seconded, and just a couple comments on those minutes. I'm in those minutes. There's a talk of a tourism roundtable on, I believe, May the 9th. I'm going to have to move that to May the 12th at 10 a.m., please. That the 4 o'clock time just turns out to be very inconvenient for the staff members that need to attend, and those are the folks that will need to share the bulk of the information with each other. So it's important that they have an opportunity to attend. There will be notes taken and a report given after that if some folks can't make it. And also with the Otaki delegation, if you remember our conversation in those minutes, they're coming in October. We have expressed, we expressed an interest in sending them a letter saying our concerns with COVID, and they have responded, and we'll discuss that at the next committee of the whole. And they are going to stay in a hotel, so we'll have to look at possible ways of how we might engage with them while they're here. So we can talk about that committee of the whole. So that's the only comments that have arisen out of those minutes. So moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, the motion's carried. Next, we have the Cowichan Lake Recreation Commission. There was no meeting, so there is no report. And so we can move to the Vancouver Island Regional Library, Councillor Romeka.
Give me one sec here. Many of you have probably been watching in the news that we finally had a ratified contract for BC librarians with rural trustees. So basically the agreement equates to a 12% increase over 4 years. January the 1st of 2021 is 3% retroactive. January 2022, also 3% retroactive with a $500 signing bonus. January of 2023, 3%. January of 2024, 3%. And they have to look at the budgets because it could possibly put a increase in our portion of our taxes. But until it goes to that, they don't know yet. At our some of the libraries here, it was interesting that they have 3D printers So if you want to do anything, you have to book ahead in Nanaimo for a 3-hour time slots. And they charge you 10 cents per gram of the fiber filament to be able to make anything with the 3D printers. So the reason I was really interested in this personally is because I've started to order bath bomb molds that are made with 3D printers. And it's been really fascinated because this young couple who have 6 kids, believe it or not, ran a retail soap store down in Florida. After 3 years, they started with 35 printers. They've gone to 100 printers. They sold their retail business. They've just purchased a 30-acre farm and put a warehouse on it. They now have the capacity to put 500 of these 3D printers into their home. They're doing this with 6 children, and they're going to make it a workable farm. And so I thought about it, 100 printers. I'm going, well, why do I have to wait 6 weeks? But then I stopped to think they need to take 3 different printers to be able to make a top, a bottom, and a sleeve. So you can see how 100 molds would produce 33 pieces or 33 complete bath bomb molds. And they turn the machines on in the morning, and by the end of the night, barring any filament problems, printers that are down, they could produce 33 bath bombs a day. It takes 6 weeks backlog because this young couple has come into the market with such an amazing product that they ship all around the world. So you go onto their site and you hear from people as far away as Switzerland and down in the UK. It's just amazing. So you think about all these young children that, you know, you're as an adult, you're always saying, get off the computer, go outside and do things. And then you look at this family that has made this total unbelievable business just around computers and 3D printers. So it's really neat. I was absolutely thrilled when I saw that the Nanaimo branch, there's kids there that are learning how to use the 3Ds, and they're starting right now with just bookmarks. But that's just absolutely incredible. So Virl itself is also partnering with Vancouver Island Master Gardeners. And what they're doing is free virtual gardening series starting on May the 2nd at 6:30. And you can learn about culinary and ornamental allium. And you can also go back to videos as far as all of last year and learn lots about gardening. So now's the time to perhaps look up on that if you're an avid gardener. And that is my report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Romeka. Any questions for Councillor Romeka on that? All right. That means we can move to the Advisory Planning Commission. Councillor Austin.
There was no meeting this month because our town planner was away. The next meeting will be next month.
Thank you very much. Then we can move to Community Forest Co-op. Councillor McGonigal.
Thank you very much, Mayor Day. As most of you know, last Friday, there was an announcement at the Duck Pond regarding a contribution from the Cowichan Lake Community Forest Cooperative towards the Kinsman's Duck Pond Park revitalization project. Unfortunately, I was unable to attend due to a family matter. I know that Deputy Mayor Sandu attended in the town's honor on that presentation. There will be another financial offering in the near future. I will keep you apprised as to the date. I believe I have sent an invite to the mayor on another announcement that is coming forward from the Forest Co-op on some funding to a society moving their project forward as well. One of the interesting things is to look at the contributions that have been made through the Cowichan Lake Community Forest in the past. Our financial director, well, not director, a financial person on the board keeps a running tally from the time that these offerings have been given to the various organizations in the community. And it just never seems to amaze me at the number of organizations that have benefited from a small community forest. What it shows with the partnership with Pachidat First Nation is the legacies that can be left through a well-managed community forest for years to come and generations to come. I think of it in the context of First Nations 7th-generation scene, or two-eyed scene, as some have indicated, looking forward to what we can leave for future generations. And that's the mantra of the Cowichan Lake Community Forest Cooperative on the granting of these funds moving forward, whether it be to the food bank, the Christmas hamper program, Trans-Canada Trail for outdoor activities, 77-mile trestle revamp. There are just numerous projects that have benefited from the legacy left behind by the Forest Co-op. So I will announce the next one at the next council meeting.
I just wanted to say also that Councillor Austin attended along with me to the announcement. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Councillor Sandu and Austin, for attending that during our little family COVID experience. That turned out to be a false alarm. So thank you very much for that. And thank you, Councilman McGonigal, for that report. And great work and fantastic contribution back to the community from that group. Next, we have Councilman McGonigal again with the Cowichan Valley Regional District Board meeting.
Well, I will not bore you with my voice. I was unable to attend due to a commitment on a treaty table, so my alternate attended on my behalf, and I will let her give the report as to her attendance.
You're funny. So I attended the regular and closed meeting on April 13th. There were two items that had to do with Lake Cowichan. One was bylaw number 4419, which was to amend the boundaries of the Lake Cowichan Fire Protection Service area. There was a couple pieces of lot houses that are now in their jurisdiction, their service jurisdiction. So that passed. The other one was there was a grant and aid application from Director Kuhn for the Chamber of Commerce mobile service unit in the amount of $3,500. But on the application, it had the Town of Lake Cowichan Information Center on it. So I asked the question at the meeting, and it was just an error on Director Kuhn's part. So, and that's all I have to report on.
Thank you very much, Councillor Sandu. Any questions for Councillor Sandu on the Cowichan Valley Regional District meeting? Okay. And that means we can move along to the Community Outreach Team Committee and Councillor Austin.
Thank you. Our meeting was April 21st. It was a Zoom meeting. We had a good turnout. It was Alethea Clark's last week. She's with Work BC, and she was moving on. They're going to miss her. She did a lot of work, a lot of different work with a lot of the different people here that are looking for work. They welcomed Michaela Jameson, a new counselor. She's excited to be here. She's working with the youth, child and youth programs. And the programs are starting, well, they started April 19th, the drop-in programs, and then the clubhouse, that's previously the preteen and the teen, Tuesdays 9 to 12, age 9 to 12, and Wednesdays age 13 plus. And I've got lots of notes here. They've had an increase in the utilization of the preventative supports through the program recently. Lots of people struggling to keep up financially, as we all know. Previously, the support was predominant in relation to basic needs for unhoused individuals. but things are changing, as we know, with the prices that are going up. The refresh market is twice a week now. They're trying to keep Mondays for seniors and Wednesdays for anyone else that is able to come for that. They both start at 11 o'clock. It's been very well used over the last few weeks. The community luncheon again is Mondays and Thursdays, 12 to 2 at the Lake Cowichan Christian Fellowship Church. The resource room, I think that's more to do with the Red Cross covered. I'm not sure how that came out. I didn't say too much about what we were doing. I did mention about the movie that's at Massachi Lake and things like that, and the unfortunate that we had to raise parcel taxes and different things like that, but this is the way things are these days. Corporal Shannon Savrenkoff came for the RCMP. She had nothing much to report at this time. She's looking to engage with the community services and as things ramp up through the summer months, because they are expecting more things going on there. Carolyn Yablonsky again talked about the COVID clinics for children 5 to 11. She gave all the different phone numbers. They've had some technical difficulties with appointments not showing up online. I think they put in a new computer system, something like mine, as with things not maybe going along quite well. There was one other thing that was kind of important. Oh, she talked about Ukrainian refugees landing on the island. So they're expecting quite a few and they're gearing up for that. And one of our nurses does a youth clinic on Tuesday afternoons from 1:30 to 4 at the CATSA Health Unit. Laurel Crawford from Community Integration Ministry of Housing. She's just continuing to try and find homes for people, and it's the hardest part of the whole service there. Kyle LaBerge from Cowichan Lake Recreation Commission talked about all the different programs that they have, and sent a whole lot of different ones. They're all gearing up for the summer programs for the youth. And Rosalie was there on behalf of Social Planning Cowichan, discussing a little bit about our poverty reduction strategy. And she was quite pleased to tell them a little bit about what we've been doing. And Jocelyn noted that they have secured 2 garden plots at the community garden for those that wish to partake of that, the marginalized. And they also have 3 plots at their building there in the lot there. So the next meeting will be on May 19th. And hopefully, I think we're going to stay Zoom for now because it's easier for some of the people that have a lot of work to do. And thank you for letting me go to those meetings.
All right. We'll move along in just a sec. Joe, that was another request to get into the meeting from another device from me. Having a low battery issue on the other device, so just being proactive. Okay, while we're doing that, we can move along to, thank you very much, Councillor Austin. Move along to our Cowichan and Councillor Sandhu.
Okay, on April the 14th, our Cowichan held our first dinner meeting at Providence Farm. And there was probably about 20 people approximately. And we had an overview from Rosalie from Social Planning Cowichan on the poverty reduction strategy. So Mayor Day was there also, and he can speak on it. But one thing I said in this meeting after Rosalie had done her spiel was that it was one of the hardest decisions this council had to make, to turn down the living pods for in the community. And I was specific that we needed the services to go along with those pods, and without the services, we are in no position to offer this in our community. So there was good discussion on that, and at our table. The other thing we talked about was hidden poverty in your community. And so they had they talked about the different age levels and whatnot, categories, and just where Lake Cowichan sits. And I actually want to get the accurate numbers. I had jotted it down, but I'm not sure it was actually exact. So I'll forward that when I get that. There was an election for co-chair for our Cowichan, and Sheila Service is now the co-chair. We had a discussion on the rights of the child, Article 22. And so that was to do with, you have the right to special protection and help if you are a refugee. A refugee is someone who has had to leave their country because it's not safe for them to live there. So they were talking that there's possibility that the Cowichan Valley will be getting some refugees into our area. And so they're just looking at how they can accommodate that with what needs housing, whatnot. So we'll hear more probably next month on that. The other thing we talked about was we did a roundtable, and we heard from a young lady, a new member of our Cowichan, who has actually lived on the streets. She's currently in the Ramada, but transitioning to the new location. But she spoke to us after the meeting, Mayor Day and myself, about her personal journey through this, her friends on the street that she still checks on every day, the few people has saved their lives, that they're so angry with her after she's brought them back from Narcan, saying, you've ruined my high, you wasted the money I spent to get it. Like, you know, hearing that from somebody that's walked the walk, it's a very, it's a totally different experience that I just can't explain any further than it's heartbreaking. But when you see someone like her and many others that are transitioning through this process, there's hope to this. It's just going to take time and a lot of money from our senior governments. Local governments cannot cover these costs, unfortunately, and it's got to be up to our senior governments. So overall, it was a great, great meeting. So if Mayor Day has anything to say, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Sandhu. I relied on your notes as always. But it was very interesting to sit in the room with those two folks that were off the street living in the Ramada and who are now transitioning to the Paddle Road supportive housing site, which all the folks in the Ramada who are being housed in the Ramada are moving there. And then the Ramada will go under renovation and go back to being a hotel. So that's happening there. Another number through all this, everything was temporary during COVID, including the new village on Trunk Road. But I believe there's still 87 unhoused folks in the Duncan North Cowichan area still after the COVID, after the fallout from the COVID funding. There's going to be 87 people going back to the street and living on the street. So be interesting to see how things play out. The Cowichan, or the Duncan North Cowichan areas, and the things they've done with the COVID funding is a model that people are watching closely, and we'll see if hopefully maybe one day the federal provincial funding will be there on a permanent basis to help transition people through there and get them into some supportive housing, because it appears to be working that way. So it's encouraging to watch. Thank you very much. Any questions for Councillor Sandhu? Okay, so next we can move to the Cowichan Watershed Board. Councillor Sandhu again, please.
I'm tired. I can't talk much longer. Yesterday we held our monthly meeting, virtual. We're hoping next month to get back in person. Newly elected Chief Whitsom chaired our meeting, and she reflected on her time when the Watershed Board was formed in 2010. She was one of the initial founders of the Watershed Board. So she spent about 10 minutes just reflecting on that time period, and her trying to kind of catch up to now, but her saying just what the work she's seen over the last 11 years, pretty spectacular. But as she said, there's a lot more to do. We reviewed the drafted annual report, which is a reflective document of all the work that was done in 2021. We reviewed the Watershed Board business plan for 2022, which included a work plan for 2023 and 2024, which we passed. We had a refresher because there was a few new appointments from the CVRD to the Watershed Board. So we had a brief refresher on core documents, principles, targets, and how the Watershed Board works. We had a presentation from Jeff Anderson and Sherry Ayers with the findings of the Twin Watershed project that was done in 2021, and also the Kokosila E-flows and the fish habitat components. And there was discussion on the core funding the Cowichan Watershed Board receives yearly. And it was noted that there has been no increase since 2010. And what staff of the Watershed Board has said is the next 2 years, staff is forecasting an increase of approximately $20,000 per year due to inflation costs, insurance costs. It's very scary. The Watershed Board also doesn't have an office. They don't have, staff doesn't have a telephone. They use their own cell phones, and there's no mileage account. So the 3 employees that the Watershed Board has, they volunteer a lot of their time because they're passionate about the Watershed Board and what and that. They also talked about the value the Watershed Board brings to the entire community that hasn't been more appreciative by senior governments in the last 2 years. We're on the map. The Cowichan Watershed Board is on the map, not just in the province of BC, but actually Canada-wide, just in what we're doing and whatnot. The Cowichan Watershed Board Society Treasurer shared his concerns with trying to get an increase in core funding from our 2 founding partners. The second concern that he shared was to have the funds released on a scheduled time. There's no scheduled time. And in 2021, the Watershed Board was paid in December. So, and then Chief Whitson gave a verbal report on the commitment of the $30 million to improve BC watersheds that was announced from Minister Osborne and Premier Horgan last week. And she also noted that before the public announcement, Minister Osborne came to Cowichan Valley and met with the chief and staff for a tour of the restoration work to date of the watershed in 2 different locations. So that really gave her an understanding of the work that's been done. And that, so it's a really positive step. Our next meeting is May 30th, and on March 31st, the Watershed Society held our AGM, and I was appointed and elected as co-chair for this year. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Councillor Sandhu, and congratulations on becoming the co-chair and get some valuable experience and keep on soaking up that knowledge, no pun intended. Okay. Any questions for Councillor Sandhu? Okay, see none. So that means we can move along to staff reports. And the first one is Chief Administrative Officer regarding Commission membership appointment to the Advisory Planning Commission, Mr. Fernandez. Your mute button, sir.
We had a short notice resignation from the APC, which is the Advisory Planning Commission. And as a result, we had to fill that position, or at least it makes sense to have that position filled because it's a small commission. And there was a previous applicant who had applied to be on the APC. His name is Duncan Brown, and we thought he would be a good candidate. He'd worked on the OCP previously quite diligently, and he's a longtime resident of Lake Cowichan, and I think it makes sense to put somebody like him on the APC, and that's my recommendation.
So you've heard the recommendation, folks. Anybody want to move that recommendation? Councillor Sandhu, second by Councillor Austin. Any discussion? Perfect. I think Mr. Brown will be a valuable addition to that group. So all those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. And next we can move along to the contract planner regarding the application for a development variance permit and development permit for construction of a commercial building at 88 Cowichan Lake Road, legally described as Lot 4, Section 6, Plan BIP 6253, PID 031-401-244. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, I think every councillor should be aware that there was a building, an old building, that was located at that spot, and it was moved away, and the owners are planning on putting a new structure there. And so Stacy Blanchard, who's the owner, and her construction manager are both here. If you want to listen to them, I'll put them on.
All right, thank you.
Just give me a second here. I think Stacy Blanchard is already on. And Jessica.
All right, welcome Stacy and Jessica. So we're all ears if you'd like to describe your development.
I was here for junior anger management. I started 10 minutes ago. Oh, right, sorry. Her name is Piper Hart. Hey! Why are those turns interrupting our jam class? Sit down, Naomi. I'm too angry to sit! Then squeeze your hole.
I think it's Jessica who has to always going on.
Breathe in.
It looks like Stacy's trying to solve that issue.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Jessica. You've got a whole lot of background noise going on there.
Hi, I can hear you now. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Was there a question? Did I miss that part too?
No, we're just you're here. So if you'd like to say anything about your development permit, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. My name's Jessica. I work for Island West Coast Developments. We're the construction manager for the project at 88 Lake Cowichan Road. So our role in the project so far is basically clients come to us with their a property and describe what they're interested in developing, and we assemble the design team and we work through the entire process with them, including the budgeting and the construction side of things as well. So I guess we were introduced to this project probably about 8 months ago. The property owners have had this property for some time. They're members of the community, and they're growing their business as a physiotherapy clinic. And they were interested in building another CRU adjacent to theirs, which I believe is also going to be another health and wellness type of business. So that's their business model, and given the site, it's a difficult site in some respects because we're building up to the floodplain now, so we have some great challenges. We have zero lot lines, and maximizing the use of the space we did have some challenges when it came to parking. So I think we've managed all of that really well. The parking is assembled at the back of the property and comes off the back lane there. And then the building is as close to the front street as we could comfortably put it. And we did want to have a bit of interaction space between the city streetscape and our building. So we have a sidewalk, we have a ramp into our building, obviously for accessibility reasons, given that this is a physiotherapy clinic. But also we wanted to have a bit of landscaping out there in a seating area. Not only because it's nice to have outdoor seating, thanks to COVID, we've all kind of gotten used to not being sitting around indoors together, so we wanted clients to be able to sit outside while they're waiting, but also it's just a nice addition to the streetscape to be able to have that. So that's basically the premise of the layout. The constructability of the site was challenging as well because we have a zero lot line, and we wanted to maximize use of the space without a chunky building envelope. So we've elected to go with, pardon me one sec. So we've elected to go with a very interesting construction methodology, which is tilt-up construction. And basically the concrete panels are formed on the ground and then stood up. And those provide a 2-hour fire rating in addition to a really unique look on the building as well. On the front side of the building, we're going to do a brick interface, and then the rest of the building will be the painted concrete panels. So we've also got a really nice sort of canopy feature at the front of the building, bringing in some of the West Coast theme. It's a wood canopy with a really nice cedar soffit type of feel, and some really nice height to the front of the building, allowing for building signage. The height was important to us. Obviously, we know that the city is trying to go for multi-story buildings along the streetscape. So we wanted to contribute to the height. We're 16 feet tall, which is not that much shorter than a 2-story building, but we have most of that is just going to be the parapet sort of height, as our main floor is actually only 12-foot ceilings. So everything above that is just basically adding to the height of the building for the facade and to create the height that the city is looking for there. Yeah, so I guess everyone's had a chance to review the staff report. And if they have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
All right, so Council, you have a staff report in front of you, and it's got a few recommendations that staff does support. Mr. Fernandez, would you like to speak to that? Your mute button, sir.
If you want to look at pages 5 and 6, and let's the easiest one to deal with is the development.
One moment, please. Jessica, could you mute? We still have a lot of background noise. We're unable to hear the administrator.
Yeah, if you mute it,
we can still hear.
If you mute it.
There we go.
Okay. So I think the best way to deal with it is to look at the development permit, which is at the bottom of 5, to approve that, and with the conditions that's shown up on page 6. That would be the easy part because the staff is good with that. The difficult part is the development variant permit, which is shown at page 5. I think the contract planner has some issues with it. He's raised the issue of the height, and he's raised the issue of the parking space. There's a shortage of one space. So it's really up to council in terms of how they want to go about dealing with that. And I'm not sure if the owners are willing to part with $4,000 for the additional, to give up the additional space in lieu of the space, I should say.
Okay, Councilor McGonigal, you had your hand up?
I did, thank you very much. And I appreciate your comments, Joseph. I had an opportunity to attend the property in question. As it transitions from a residential property to a commercial entity with the possibility of 11 parking spaces, not 12 or 11, whatever it is, the access and egress on the back lane appeared to be a problem with those 2 large ornamental cedars that are there. which would impede sight lines on access and egress. I'm wondering under page 4, there's a comment in lieu of landscaping to leave the existing trees. When we had a similar application just kitty corner from there, one of the problems was safety sight lines for pedestrians, etc. So I would rather see consideration of the removal of those 2 ornamental cedars and landscaping within the front to conform within the OCP. I'm not sure if there's problems with snow removal with those overhangs. It would appear that they don't be in very good shape from just what I could. I'm no arborist, but they do look to be beyond hedging, so to speak. That was my concern on some of the access and egress, not only for customers coming and going, but for our snow removal, for our garbage collection that utilizes that back alley as well. If that were to occur, I could support moving forward with the application. If not, I would like to see further discussion on what the impacts would be from our public works superintendent and other staff members on how that can be mitigated. So I will leave that in the hands of my colleagues.
So I'm sorry, Councilor McGonigal, are the trees written up in the staff report?
Page 4.
Page 4.
Under landscape screening 8.7.1 in the official community plan talks about that.
Okay.
And there are certain entities within that landscape plan that should be utilized. Those ornamental trees do not fit in it. And as we're moving from residential to commercial, I think it's important that we adhere to that. So, otherwise, I would refer this to committee of the whole. I don't want to hold up the application, but I do have a concern on that with sightlines, etc.
Just to speak to that, I don't think we'd have any issues, and the property owner is on the call with me as well, with removing those trees. To be perfectly honest, the intention in keeping them was just usually we find people are attached to their trees, so we like to recommend keeping them where possible, but it is always easier to construct without them there, so it wouldn't be an issue from our perspective to remove those trees.
And if I can comment to that as well, we have no attachment to those.
Sorry, Stacy, did you say you have no attachment to those trees?
No attachment to those trees.
Okay. Councilor Romeka, did you have your hand up?
The first one, maybe our CAO can answer that one. When it's asking for a variance from 11 parking spaces instead of 12, was the 12 based on there being a second story? With
no, it's based on the square footage
of just the bottom, the way it is. Okay. When same as Councillor McGonigal, when I looked at that area and I started to see the sushi complex, the home hardware, country grocer, the liquor store, everything there in that neighborhood is a 1-story. And so I know we're trying to build residential, but it fits in with what is there commercially. So I have no objections myself with there not being a second story for residential, and the reduction of 1 parking spot waived. We all know that if you're in a physiotherapy, it's not like a business that people are just walking in unannounced. Everything is scheduled appointment, so you know how many people are coming into that building at any given time. So I have no objection to that either. And I don't see the personal cost of the $4,000 to be added on to somebody bringing a business into Lake Cowichan. But that's just my thoughts on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Sandu, did you have your hand up? No. Councillor Austin, no. So back to Mr. Fernandez, was your recommendation to go to the bottom page 5?
Yeah. Well, based on what I've heard from council is to go with approval of the development permit as outlined in the bottom of 5 and 6, and to approve the development variance based on what Councilor Romeka had indicated, to reduce it to 11 without the requirement for the $4,000. And I think in terms of the trees that Councilor McGonigal had raised, it's maybe best left to staff to work that out rather than make that a condition of the variance.
No, absolutely. And I appreciate that. I just wanted to point out some of the issues that I foresaw coming forward, moving from a residential entity to a commercial entity. And that was my only point. I appreciate that very much.
And if I may, and the other issue is to permit the one-story structure to be placed there.
Okay. So to make this, go ahead, Councillor Sandhu.
Just through to the CAO. So if we approve this 1 story, not 2, is that setting a precedent?
No.
Okay.
So development permit is, development variance is it's individually based. It's not setting any precedent.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So how about we go like this? We go down to the bottom, page 5, development permit for the downtown, uptown neighborhoods, center tourism areas, and commercial development permit area DPA 4 and natural hazard lands wildfire area DPA 2. A, approval of the development as presented with conditions inclusive of the following specific site plan, landscaping plan, and parking lot fencing, bicycle parking, lighting plan, and the use of building materials as shown in the profiles herein. And with the points below, approval with a condition that $20,000 be provided as landscaping surety for a period of 2 years, and approval with a condition that an appropriate decorative fence with privacy elements for the west side of the parking lot be submitted and approved by staff in advance of the building permit. And so we could cover that off if somebody wants to move and second that. Councillor Austin, seconded by Councillor Romeka. Any discussion on this portion? Councillor Sandhu.
I'm just wondering, just with regarding those 2 trees, that it not be part of this initial development permit. I don't see why it couldn't go into that, just so all parties are clear. But that's just my thinking, but I don't want misunderstanding later.
Mr. Fernandez, how do you see that playing?
Oh, it's entirely up to council.
Okay, so then we could add another point to this. How are we going to word that? Go ahead, Councilor McGonigal.
With the removal of the 2 ornamental cedars on the access and egress to the property.
At the rear of the property. Well, same thing, yeah. That's where it is. Okay. With removal of the 2 ornamental cedars at the access and egress of the property. So that's another point to be added there. Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, the only thing is for a development permit, because I've got to register this in land titles. So to deal with the 2 trees, you may want to do that separately, a separate motion, rather than making it part of the development permit and the variance.
Good, because this one was starting to get muddy. So it's been moved and seconded. Any question? Call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next, Councilor McGonigal, go ahead and make the motion.
So now I will move that the removal of the 2 ornamental cedars on the access and egress of 88 South Shore. I forgot the property.
Couch and Lake Road.
Couch and Lake Road be added to the development. However you want to word it.
As a condition of the building permit.
As a condition of the building permit.
Perfect. Seconded by Councillor Romeka. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Oh, sorry, Councillor McGonigal.
And just bear with me, I don't want to berate this, but I think when we saw on the other application, the concern from our RCMP on visibility within there, I shared those concerns when I viewed that building. Not to say that it's not the same, but you're pretty close to the police station where you're building, so.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, the motion carried. Thank you. So next we can back up to page 5, and you'll see development variance permit variances to the zoning bylaw. We have staff support the following. Number 1, vary the requirement of subsection 5.3.4 dimensional and coverage standards, Article H, the maximum frontage of a building setback further than the maximum setback of 3 meters by 10 percentage points to 60% instead of 50%. And I'm sure that only Jessica and Joe understand what that means.
Yeah, so you may want to just do the 1 and 2 and that's it. Or do 3 and 4. So you have the option.
Right. So I will read the second one. And if we're comfortable moving forward with those 2, or if any member of council wants to consider 3 or 4. So the second one in this first part is vary the minimum number of car parking spaces required in Schedule B parking spaces, Table B-1 required on-site parking spaces by a reduction of 1 to allow for 11 spaces instead of the required 12. So if anybody's comfortable, they could move those 2 together or discuss further. Councillor Sandhu, are you moving? Seconded by Councillor Austin. Any discussion? Then I'll call the question. Oh, sorry, Councillor Romeka.
Sorry, I just wanted clarification. So are we moving it and waiving the $4,000 fee?
Right.
We're not going past the word or, so there will be no $4,000 fee.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now I'll call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much. Mr. Fernandez, does that bring that?
Yeah, that's done. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. And thank you very much, Stacy and Jessica. I'm sure I can speak for all of us. We're sure looking forward to something as attractive as you have in the drawings going into that space. So I wish you luck. Estimated starting time, maybe?
As soon as we get our building permit.
All right. See you at the office tomorrow.
Yes. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. All right. That was a complicated staff report, sir.
Yeah, it was, yeah, but it was good. Well
yes,
done.
well, tons of detail. Councillor Sandhu?
Tons of detail, yeah. That's why I got the second one I had to deal with, which was easy.
Well, I was just going to add to that, you know, sometimes the language is really hard to understand. Like that's sort of in depth. I appreciate it, but it's a lot to absorb to even try and bring to this conversation here. So.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Oh, that's why you're there. Oh, okay. Now I know. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We did it, folks. And I think we did a good job. So we'll move on to the next one. It's a development variance application for a development variance permit for the construction of a covered carport at 340 Grants Lake Road, legally described as Lot C, Block 26, Plan VIP 59758, PID 018-933-718. Mr. Fernandez, I just had one question. Is there a house there already, or are they building a carport?
No, it's a vacant lot. It's a vacant lot.
Okay.
So that's why they were going to build a house and then come in with a variance. I said, let's deal with the entire thing now. And if I may, the development variance is asking for variance from 7.5 meters, which is a required setback, to 4.117. So as you can see, it's not really a lot. And I've got the applicants here and the architect, so if you want to hear from them, that'd be okay.
Does council have any questions? We might as well, they did their due diligence to show up, so we might as well listen for a minute.
Yeah.
So good evening, Jennifer, Will, and Dave. So in the interest of time, do we have one spokesperson that just like to briefly outline?
Yeah, good evening. Will King is our architect, and Dave and I would like to defer to him.
Okay. I will.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Mr. Fernandez. Thank you very much. I was actually following this along live streaming, and I seem to have missed about 10 seconds, so I apologize if something crucial came up. But this is a very simple project. The vacant lot is having a new house designed on it. It's a rather unique lot in that the front yard setback, which is to the north side, is adjacent to the principal road, which most people would consider be the main road access. But it is a small little, I guess it's a roadway that's created the front of the lot. There's an existing driveway that comes off of Grant Lakes Road from the east, and it delivers your car right into the top north part of the site. It's the obvious place to put a car, and if you were to drive there yourself, you would drive down the road and park your car there. It's where we want to put the car when we occupy the site. And what we want to do right here is put a covering on it. We decided that it'd be best to keep a 7.5 meter setback from the roadway, which seems to be the intent of the bylaw. So we decided to put the car further back into the lot just to give some clearance and some space to the front of, I guess, the frontage on Grants Lake Road. It also takes the built elements and pulls them back away from the existing vegetation. There's some larger trees there and a nice big hedge, which are beautiful, so we certainly don't want to encumber them. But also in the summer and the fire seasons, we just want to keep as far back away from that kind of hazard as we can. And so while this puts the covered carport technically in the front yard, again, we're trying to keep 7.5 meters back from the roadway and just keep it out of the hazard is all.
All right, thank you very much. So I'll just, Councilor McGonigal.
Thank you very much. So if I may, through to CAO, with the variance on the carport, that would accommodate the siting of the house in the future on the Grants Lake side, if I'm hearing that correctly. If that were not to occur, the building site would be encroaching upon that 7.5 meters on the Grant Lake Road.
No. So they've actually, the side setback should only be 3 meters, but they've gone back 7.5, if I heard well correctly.
And
that's correct. Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
I don't know about other councillors, but when these come up, I try to visit the site and see what the applicant is envisioning. As with the previous discussion, I drove by there and I did not see a problem with accommodating this either. So I'm fully in support of this.
All right, so that means you're moving the recommendation, Councilor McGonigal. All right, seconded by Councilor Romeka. So any further questions or comments? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? And opposed? None. Motion carried. Thank you very much, you folks, for showing up and giving us a brief outline, and good luck with the build.
Thank you
so
very
much.
Thank you very Appreciate much. your time this evening.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, now we can move along to bylaws. First, we have the Town of Lake Cowichan Financial Plan Bylaw, 1073-2022, and that may be read a first, second, and third time, Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, I assume that you all got the new updated bylaw on this issue. And I'll let the Director of Finance speak to it.
Let's go.
Thank you. So the community charter states that the municipality must pass a 5-year financial plan and adopt it annually. And this is to include the current year and the following 4 years. It sets out the funding sources, expenditures, and transfers. And it was as has been reviewed by council previously. There's been some changes with the revised rates that have come in and also the school taxes. So those numbers have been changed and reflected in this 5-year plan as presented. And it is here for first, second, and third reading.
All right, do we have a mover? Moved by Councillor Sandhu, second by Councillor Austin. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Thank you very much. Next is the Town of Lake Cowichan 2022 Annual Rates Bylaw 1074-2022, and that may be read a first, second, and third time as well. Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, and usually the annual rates have to be adopted after the financial plan is in place. So that's why the process is being followed here. So you have to deal with the financial plan first before you can do the rates. And again, I will defer to Ms. Gill.
Ms. Gill.
So the community charter requires that we prepare a annual rates bylaw annually for the rates set to be charged for property taxes. And these rates are here for first, second, and third reading as well.
All right. Moved by Councillor McGonigal, seconded by Councillor Sandhu. Any discussion? Then I'll call the question. All those in favor? And opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Next, we go to the Town of Lake Cowichan Building Bylaw number 1075-2022, and that may be read a first and second time. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, as the council is aware, construction building values have skyrocketed, and so it's costing everybody that much more money, but our building permit fees and our construction values have not been keeping pace. So that's why we decided to look at relook at the construction values and the fee structure. And as a result, the bylaw is here for first and second reading, but we have some tweaking still to be done, and it'll come back to council for third reading at the May meeting.
Okay. Any moved by Councillor Sandhu, seconded by Councillor Austin. Any questions or discussion on this bylaw?
Just first and second reading.
Right. First and second. That's right. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? None. The motion's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, we can move along to new business now. And this
If I may, Mayor Day, I think it would be appropriate for myself to remove from this discussion as the vice chair and let the remainder of council decide on the presentation that was given by the Forest Co-op on this request. So I will move away from the table as to not influence bias.
Okay, thank you very much. We will call you back. Okay, so this is referred to the regular council from the committee of the whole meeting. We had the presentation, and I do not have the resolution in front of me, but basically they're asking for our support to send their resolution to UBCM.
I can read the resolution if you want.
Perfect, I'd like that.
It reads, whereas the tabular stumpage rate system that currently applies to community forest agreements provides the means through which the community forests innovate, operate in contentious areas, invest in long-term forest stewardship, and provide jobs and other benefits to their communities. And whereas the ability of community forests to innovate and invest in community priorities, including climate change adaptation, wildfire risk reduction, ecosystem restoration, old growth management, recreational infrastructure development, and economic development relies upon the current stumpage rates. And whereas any change in the current tabular stumpage policy that results in an increased stumpage rates, an additional administrative burden for community forest tenures will greatly reduce and undermine the capacity of community forests to provide key socio-economic benefits to the communities that they support. The tabular stumpage policy enables community forest agreement holders to implement modernized forest policies and to meet the full range of community objectives while operating viable businesses. Therefore, be resolved that the town of Lake Cowichan lobby the province of British Columbia to maintain the tabular rate structure for community forest agreements.
All right. Are we moving and seconding? All right, moved by Councillor Austin, second by Councillor Sandhu then. Any discussion? All right. All those in favor? Opposed? None. The motion carries. Okay, so now, I don't know if Councillor McGonogill can hear us. And yes, good. Okay. Now we'll move along to the mayor's report. It's a pretty simple but important one this month, in my opinion. April 24th to the 30th is National Volunteer Week in Canada. When I was thinking of what to write on this topic, I decided to reflect back on my most recent experience involving volunteerism. It was this past Sunday as I sat in the bleachers of my grandson's minor baseball game at the Little League ballpark. As I sat and watched, I counted no less than 10 parents on each team volunteering on the field, directing the young players where to stand, where to throw the ball, and whether or not they made the play or not, there were always words of encouragement for the young boys and girls. These parents may never understand how important their role in the field is, but I can testify from experience that they are having a positive influence on a young person's life that they will remember for years to come. In my mind, this is a simple illustration of a much bigger picture. Volunteers are the core of every vibrant community. We have 100 and hundreds of dedicated volunteers in Lake Cowichan and the surrounding area working together for their respective goals. To all of you and to all those who are listening or reading this message, when you see a volunteer and when you volunteer, you are giving the best gift possible to your community and making it a better place. So thank you to all volunteers. And that's it. Councillor Austin.
My mute button is so far away. I just wanted to say that someone mentioned that maybe your mayor's reports should go into the newspaper, or at least are they online all the time? I haven't really been checking the website monthly.
I think we're one behind on the website, and okay. I'd be happy to send them to the newspaper. See if they print them or not.
Okay, just wondering.
Mr. Fernandez.
Yeah, the March one is on. It's on, it's on the website. Yeah, went
okay.
up last Friday.
Okay.
Okay. Councillor Romeka.
I thought I might be ahead of myself, but we're a social media policy was an addition to the agenda.
Yeah, under notices of motion. That's next.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so then we will move to notices of motion, and so social media policy, an item that I know we've all talked about here and there and everywhere. So for the next committee of the whole, I would like to have a fulsome discussion if we could, and not only for members of council, but equally as important for staff as well, on how we as a corporation use social media to send out messages, whether it be interruptions of service or interruption or quality of service issues that we have to let the public know, or public health things and stuff like that. So I just like to dive into that a little deeper so we can actually have a policy so staff knows what their expectations are. And I don't know if they're two separate items or if they can be put together as one policy. So that's a topic for committee of the whole. So perhaps staff might be able to find a couple examples to share with us at that meeting. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Next, we can move to question period then, and we'll pause for 3 minutes and allow members of the public to call in to 250-749-6681, extension 102, with a question, and we'll answer that question live, or you can email your questions now or at any time to general@lakecowichan.ca. Once again, for now, if you wish to call in that question, please call 250-749-6681 and it's extension 102. And we'll see you all back here around 7:36, and hopefully we have a question.
So back, how come it's 3 minutes goes by?
All right, the 3 minutes are up. Mr. Fernandez, anything for us tonight?
No emails or no phone calls.
Okay. That means we can move along to the in-camera section of the meeting. Mr. Fernandez.
I'll read that out. Section 92 of the Community Charter requires that before a meeting or a part of a meeting is to be closed to the public, council must state by resolution why the meeting is to be closed. And the basis on which the meeting is to be closed falls under the following sections of the community charter. Section 91C, dealing with labor relations or other employee relations, and Section 91F on matters dealing with law enforcement, and Section 190G dealing with potential litigation.
All right. So with that, could I have a motion to go in camera, please? Moved by Councillor Sandhu, second by Councillor Austin. All those in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. All right, we have a separate invite in your inbox. So
Indeed, yeah. We're all
see
good.
you all back here shortly.
Good night.